Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm a program manager in the Off-Campus Study and Exchanges office, and I'm here to talk to you about health, safety, and traveling to your off-campus study program this spring 2021. Let's start with insurance. So Skidmore College provides insurance for all students studying on international programs approved through our office. Policy benefits include, but are not limited to emergency medical care, mental health services, medical evacuation, and repatriation of remains. This insurance policy will be emailed to you with instructions on how to sign up via a portal. That should be coming in the next few weeks. In addition to the Skidmore provided insurance included in your tuition, all program providers such as CIE, DIS also offer students insurance coverage through their own policy, and you'll receive information directly from your provider about this policy, as well as how to access care. For those studying on domestic programs, you should keep your insurance and make sure you are covered in the state and area where you are going. In addition to that, any student studying off campus, we recommend that you keep your personal insurance provided by either your parents or the insurance you buy through Skidmore. It's really important to have that in case of an emergency and you need to return home. You want to make sure that you're covered, as the international insurances do not cover your care here in the US. If you take medications, please make sure that you bring enough medication to cover for the entire semester, plus 1 or 2 months, just in case. This would be in the instance of if the borders close and you need to stay on site for a little while longer than planned. Some controlled medications might need special permission from your doctor and/or insurance company for you to get longer than a 30-day supply. You should always carry your prescription with you too while traveling, because it's important if you're stopped at customs or immigration in the country that you're arriving, that you have proof that you actually need that medication. Do not have family or friends send you medications in the mail, as these could be confiscated by customs. And do not plan on getting medications abroad. Medications are different in different countries. So for consistency's sake, we recommend keeping on the same medication that you take here in the US. Also, if you're on medication, continue taking this. Going off campus is not a time to take a break from any medications that you take. It's very important to remain on your medications and remain healthy. It's also very important that you self-disclose medical information to your provider on their medical form. The more information that you can provide, the better the on-site staff can support you. So if you have any medical issues that you want to discuss with the on-site staff, you can always do so beforehand. In terms of medical care in country, it's going to vary from country to country, but it's pretty consistent that the on-site staff will be able to help you obtain medical care, including counseling services. They can also help book appointments or go with you to the emergency room if there's an emergency, or doctor's appointments to help translate. Many providers will also cover mental health coverage, and so that can be arranged before you arrive if you'd like, or while you're on site if something comes up and you need to seek counseling services. The on-site staff can certainly help with that. If you require ongoing care, you can work with your program staff to arrange for country in care before you go, and the program providers will be able to give you information on how to do so. So next is behavior on site. It's really important that you pay attention to local laws and new COVID regulations. So not just local laws as they relate to drugs or alcohol, but now we're in a time where the COVID regulations are definitely important, and ultimately your behavior on site is for the safety, health and safety of yourself as well as the community in which you are living. Local laws like mask wearing, social distancing limits in restaurants and public spaces are common here in the US and abroad, but they're going to differ. So it's very important that you pay attention to these current and changing laws, reading all communication you get from your program providers so that you're up to date and don't violate any local regulations in terms of COVID. The Skidmore Off-Campus Study Conduct Pledge is required post-acceptance material. It's in your My OCSE account, so if you haven't already done so, please log in, read through that, and agree to the terms by digitally signing it. Again, this is for the health and safety of you. That's our #1 priority. Failure to comply with either the Skidmore conduct pledge or your program provider's code of conduct, which could have been amended with COVID regulations, could result in dismissal from your program. So it's very important that you're paying attention to all of these. So let's work together to make this a positive experience for everyone. And I just pulled one quote out because I think it's important, just talking about your responsibility. So I have a collective responsibility for the health and well-being of all program participants, faculty and staff, and community members. In addition, I commit to the specific behaviors outlined in the pledge to protect others and myself and to preserve the program's living and learning environment. So in terms of getting there, most of you already have a passport, but if you don't already have a passport, it's very important that you apply as soon as possible. Your passport should be valid for at least 6 months post-travel, so that's the end date of your program. If you don't, if you don't have your passport, it's really important that you apply today. If you need help, please reach out and let us know. Passport processing is being delayed, so if you're waiting for your passport, it's really important you keep track of that on their website so you know exactly where your passport is. As soon as you get a new passport, please email that to OCSE@skidmore.edu so that we can update our records as well. Some of you are also going to need visas, so you'll be getting this information directly from your program provider. Some of you will be, you'll know this, whether or not you'll need a visa or how this process goes. It's important that you work with your program provider so you know exactly what you need to do and when, so what the timeline is. Please also remember that you're responsible for all of your visa fees, and in most cases, these are going to be non-refundable as they're paid directly to a consulate or a visa processing center. So if you apply for a visa, just be aware that if for some reason the semester you're not able to go, you won't be able to recoup those fees. All right, next is flights. So because of all the uncertainty with spring and travel and with program status, we are encouraging you to wait to purchase your flights. We recommend that you purchase a round-trip flight when you do, and encourage you to book a changeable or refundable ticket if possible. Programs are also encouraging students to take direct flights if at all possible. This might be more difficult if you're coming from a smaller airport in the US or going to a smaller city abroad. But please try to avoid as many layovers as possible. Pay attention to change fees. This is really important when you're booking through some of the third-party websites, that sometimes the change fees are very high. So we recommend you book directly with the airline. Please also note that Skidmore will not refund change fees or rebookings if there are any changes for the spring semester. We're going to spend a little time now with COVID and travel, as it's really important because this is impacting so much. So due to the global pandemic, many countries have instituted requirements for entry, such as proof of a negative COVID test within 72 hours of departure or quarantine, and these could change very quickly. So there could be changes between now and when you leave. So it's important to look to your program provider for guidance on what you need to do. Your provider, again, will give you up-to-date information before you depart. For example, some countries are asking for a negative COVID test, a PCR test, not a rapid test, before you depart, so usually within 3 days. So you need to bring that verification with you to the airport and have that available to be checked. Some also are requiring COVID test upon arrival or within a couple days. So it's really going to depend on what country you're going to. It's important to also note that testing will be available at each program location, and we verified that with the program providers. So if you have symptoms or want to be tested, the on-site staff will be able to help you get a test and set you up with an appointment. Some countries are also going to institute a quarantine process. The program has taken this into consideration and will provide the necessary support with housing and meals if you need to remain in your residence for the first 2 weeks or at any point throughout the semester. Again, we are also highly recommending that students get a flu shot this year. Some countries might ask for proof of flu shots just to help mitigate spread. So it's important that you get your flu shot and have verification of that in writing so that you can show that if asked. So next up is being abroad, and I'll pass it over to Eliza.